Look at Floyd. Like, Floyd spends money like it's a tap. Like, he's got a tap, just like unlimited amount of money. Money's just flowing. And even as much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits. Like, he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that. And it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he gotta be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where he shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. You gotta show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that, like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like 3 million. There's watches that are 3-5 million. That's crazy. So you buy a watch and a car, you're down 10. That's nuts.
Joe Rogan openly questioned the real estate claims made by Floyd Mayweather during the discussion. He implied that the reported numbers didn't add up, pausing the conversation to emphasize that, in his view, the figures simply didn't seem to make sense.
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and destroys people. They like watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch, look at my fucking jet, look at my house, look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like, he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed, like, this is $1 million worth of watches, this watch goes for $2 million, and they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but when I'll show you, when I'll show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like $5 million, and so you hate him.
And that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from a individual, from a billionaire that had a 9% interest on the.
Joe Rogan also questioned the broader claims about Floyd Mayweather's wealth, expressing doubt over reports that he owns numerous high-value properties and arguing that bold statements don't automatically mean there are verified assets behind them. He also brought up concerns related to money allegedly owed to the IRS, adding further skepticism to the narrative.
Money to the IRS, how much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No,
it's just neglect to pay.
Neglect, and it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this. He makes so much money. There's probably a point when they're like, "Hey, it's time to pay your taxes," and you go like, "All right, here's a check for $25 million. That's an incredible amount of money." And then they go, "That's true, but you owe 50 more." And he's just like, that can't be right. I've given you $25 million.
Yeah, he's bought over 100 luxury cars from the same dealer and always pays in cash.
Yes.
The discussion then escalated as it was pointed out that many of those assets could be sold, which fueled deeper debate around the image Floyd Mayweather built around extreme wealth. His public persona was long associated with massive cash displays, luxury watches, and a seemingly untouchable business empire. However, some financial reports have suggested that the true situation behind that image may be more complex than it initially appears.
And because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And another sign of him maybe in financial trouble is, as of February 2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion.
Reports from Business Insider indicated that 2 commercial properties linked to Floyd Mayweather had reportedly gone into foreclosure. There were also claims that a Las Vegas strip club property associated with him faced possible seizure over alleged unpaid property taxes. Additionally, lawsuits tied to high-end watches and jewelry purchases were said to have added further strain, although Mayweather has denied these allegations. As a result, the discussion shifted from his luxury-driven image to growing questions about the state of his actual financial situation.
He said that, things that they said in this article were insane, that Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment, his private jet fuel. He's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million.
The report also claimed that 2 condos at Trump International Hotel Las Vegas were reportedly seized over unpaid taxes before later being returned after the outstanding payments were settled. It further alleged that a $54 million loan connected to Floyd Mayweather involved collateral, such as his homes, private jet, and business interests. However, questions remained over whether these claims reflected verified facts or were the result of exaggeration or confusion. The contrast between Mayweather's public image and these financial discussions continued to fuel debate, with Joe Rogan already casting doubt on the narrative. Meanwhile, Shaquille O'Neal weighed in with a more direct reaction, questioning why people were surprised by talk of Floyd being broke, and suggesting the conversation shouldn't be unexpected at all.
And why are we attempting to tease Floyd? Is Floyd? Yes, he's broke. Of course he's broke. He's a boxer. Did they say can't read? That's not to tease him. They say that he can't read. His best friend at the time said that he can't read, and he never denied it. I don't tease him for it. He was a guy who grew up in a boxing channel, right? It's one of these things. You know what you know. You know what you were taught. I didn't teach him about contracts. I didn't teach him about saving. I didn't teach him about investments. Who would have taught him these things? Of course
He shifted the discussion back toward the audience, questioning why it should be surprising that a boxer would keep fighting for income when ordinary people also work to earn a living. His tone mixed blunt realism with a bit of humor. From there, he pushed further against long-held beliefs about massive boxing payouts, arguing that many of the reported billion-dollar earnings and pay-per-view figures often originate from promotional claims rather than independently verified financial records. He also noted that, in his view, the companies responsible for handling pay-per-view sales have not consistently confirmed those enormous numbers publicly, which only added more skepticism to the long-standing hype around boxing revenue reports.
Gambling addict. Got baby mamas all over the... What do you mean is he broke? Of course he's broke. What boxer do you know that isn't broke? What a ridiculous question. But it's the fact that they're attempting to tease him. I mean, first off, they're asking the question. Look, I've told you until I'm blue in the face. The numbers that you hear in boxing simply aren't true. Floyd made $1 billion. No, he didn't. Floyd and Conor made $500 million. No, they didn't. Of course they didn't. Nobody's ever confirmed that. And it's the same thing with the check. I got $100 million for a fight. Oh, you did? Who signed the check? Whoever signed the check is going to want credit for it. There's never been a time that $1 million check was written and the dude that wrote the check didn't make sure that somebody found out he wrote the check. So who wrote the check? Floyd's got a whole bunch of them, apparently. He got $1 billion. Who wrote the check?
He questioned the whole financial narrative by asking, so who wrote the check? While pointing out claims that Floyd Mayweather allegedly earned around $1 billion, challenging who actually verified or issued those payments. He extended the critique beyond Mayweather himself, raising broader doubts about how earnings are presented across the sports world. He then shifted to the complications around fight contracts and promotions, noting that overlapping or poorly timed fight announcements could disrupt exclusivity agreements and create issues for promoters. He also highlighted the irony in Floyd's reported criticisms of Showtime over alleged business practices, adding another layer of contradiction to the ongoing discussion.
And I'm only sharing with you, like, the numbers aren't what you think they are, right? The numbers are good and they made a lot of money, but it's not what you think it is. And yeah, of course Floyd's broke. Would you be boxing if you weren't? And it's very tough to be.
Critics have also referenced Floyd Mayweather's promotional history, including the build-up to his fight with Logan Paul, as an example of how disputes and confusion can surface across different sides of the boxing business. This has led to a broader cycle of blame, where each party views the other as responsible for ongoing chaos in negotiations and promotion. At the same time, a clear contradiction stands out. While questions continue to circulate about Mayweather's finances, reported earnings, and contract details, his influence in combat sports remains undeniable, as his name alone still draws massive global attention whenever it appears on a fight poster.
Logan Paul, $1.3 million. No, he doesn't. Just to clear that up, no, he doesn't. Will Logan ever get the money? I think Floyd's broke. Floyd does not owe Logan $1.3 million. Floyd's promotion owes Logan $1.3 million. And now, of course, he's not going to get it. That promotion's already shut down. Chael
Sonnen had already intensified the discussion around the Floyd might be broke narrative. But once Jason Whitlock and other panel members joined in, the conversation escalated into a broader breakdown of boxing's biggest financial names. The tone shifted from casual sports talk to something closer to financial analysis, as if the panel had turned into amateur accountants dissecting the sport. Whitlock began by leaning into the idea, previously raised by Shannon Sharpe, that a potential return to the ring for Floyd Mayweather would likely be motivated by a major payday. Once names like Canelo Alvarez, Manny Pacquiao, and Terrence Crawford were brought up, the focus quickly shifted toward the business side of boxing. Shannon Sharpe suggested that only blockbuster matchups of that scale would justify the kind of money Mayweather would demand for a return, framing it less as speculation and more as a realistic shortlist of megafights. Whitlock then drew a Rocky-style
Ocho Cinco suggested on their podcast that Floyd Mayweather is talking about coming back, unretiring.
He is.
Because he's broke.
Yeah.
Let's play the clip here of Shannon Sharpe and Ocho Cinco.
There are only 3 fights that Floyd can have.
Because Floyd Mayweather built much of his public identity around wealth, going so far as to rebrand himself from pretty boy to money. The conversation takes on a sharper tone. Jason Whitlock points out the irony in that branding, noting that when a public persona is so closely tied to luxury and riches, even small rumors of financial instability can quickly turn into major media stories.